Bitcoin's early adopters believed that it would unshackle us from this modern financial system. They believed that it will be used by the public, just like any other currency, to carry out their day-to-day transactions. However, today's Bitcoin is a different giant. It is used as an alternative for storing your wealth in times, just like gold bars, so that people's wealth is protected from this unprecedented money printing by the government. Due to this reason, I believe Bitcoin's future price will likely appreciate from here. Bitcoin is based on a system of public blockchain. You can think of this public blockchain like an Excel sheet that contains every transaction involving Bitcoin since the start. In its most simple form, Bitcoin can be considered just like a list. For example, person A sent X Bitcoin to person B, who sent Y Bitcoin to person C, etc. By tallying all these transactions up, everyone knows where individual users stand. This distributed ledger or list is available for all to see. Anyone can download it in its entirety or go to any number of sites that analyze it. This is where things get a little concerning. When you receive a Bitcoin, you are likely not the first person to get it. It probably has a history where it exchanged hands going from person A to person B to person C, etc., before finally getting to you. This brings us to the idea of different versions of Bitcoin. Investors give Bitcoin different values, depending upon which of these categories it falls under. Virgin Bitcoin trades at premium and the tainted Bitcoin trades at a discount. Virgin Bitcoin, which is Bitcoin mined fresh out of the print, is very valuable. Its transaction history is empty. On the other side of that, we have tainted Bitcoin. Tainted Bitcoin is Bitcoin that has been through the hands of a disreputable organization, or people with unlawful transaction history. You may be wondering how anyone can determine what makes a Bitcoin transaction illicit. It turns out there is an entire industry dedicated to locating and mapping Bitcoin transaction wallets and other information related to illicit activity. One of those companies is Chainalysis. When you go to their website, you can see they are an entire organization that is dedicated to blockchain analysis, providing data software services and research to government agencies, exchanges, financial institutions, insurance, and cybersecurity companies. So why does this all matter to you? Well, you can actually receive a tainted Bitcoin without knowing it. And the consequences can be severe. Just like when you receive a $100 bill in your hands, you don't care that it was used to buy drugs or weapons in the transaction before you or 10 transactions before you. Nor do you check its serial number to ensure that it's all clean. This concept applies to your Bitcoin transactions as well, but unfortunately large exchanges regulated by big governments and corporations do care with regards to Bitcoin associated with past illicit activity. This characteristic of Bitcoin having different values brings us to the idea of fungibility. This critique applies not only to Bitcoin but every single cryptocurrency that has a public ledger. When you bring up the word fungibility around anyone who is a Bitcoin fan, they will likely blow you off and call you a troll. But fungibility is actually incredibly important in understanding where the future of Bitcoin is headed. Fungibility is officially defined as the ability of good or asset to be interchanged with other individual goods or assets of the same type. Think of a gold bar. You can take a gold bar and exchange it with the other gold bar of same mass. This new gold bar, in theory, would not lose any value. It would be worth exactly the same as the first. Fungibility implies that two things are identical in specifications, where individual units can be mutually substituted. So you are probably now thinking, well, Bitcoin fits this description. I can trade one Bitcoin for another and the value would obviously stay the same. There, basically, is only one price for Bitcoin. But as I have discussed, it turns out that is actually not true at all. In fact, Bitcoin is a non-fungible asset because investors give different values to it depending upon whether it is newly minted, regular, or tainted. This feature makes it next to impossible for Bitcoin to be used as currency for exchange of goods and services anytime in future. And based on these facts, I would urge investors to rethink your price predictions in the long term.